The following is produced by 5 Star Productions USA, which is solely responsible for its editorial content and is sponsored in part by a grant from Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care.
What will we pay for convenience? Americans throw away 18 billion disposable diapers like this every year. That's enough to stretch to the moon and back 7 times. Unfortunately, most of those diapers could be in our landfills long after that child's great-grandchildren become great-grandparents. Hi, I'm Ed Begley Jr., and this is today's Environment. Join me as we take a close look at some potential answers to our environmental problems. Balance, that's the key to a healthy environment. What we take from the earth must be returned properly. Because when we upset the delicate balance in nature, we tip the scales towards disaster. Industry can remain in sync with the earth, and here's one idea that may help.
Water. It covers over 2/3 of our planet, but fresh water makes up only 1% of that amount. Much of that fresh water finds its way into industrial uses, and the wastewater created during those applications often contains organics, acids, and heavy metals. Federal guidelines demand that this waste stream be treated before it can be safely returned to the land. Many technologies now exist to neutralize acids and precipitate heavy metals from industrial water, but they all deliver a different environmental impact. One emerging process that appears to be very planet-friendly harnesses magnesium chloride from seawater and converts it to magnesium hydroxide to cleanse wastewater. You may know it as milk of magnesia, and its reputation for calming stomach acid stands unparalleled. Now this familiar compound has gained acceptance as a powerful tool in neutralizing acidic wastewater, coagulating organic sludge, and precipitating heavy metals from industrial effluent for easy removal and recycling. Unlike other chemicals like lime or sodium-based caustic soda, magnesium hydroxide poses no threat to people or the environment. It occurs throughout nature as an essential nutrient for plants and animals. After neutralizing and coagulating the organic waste stream from food processing plants, the sludge created as a byproduct can be converted to animal feed or fertilizer rather than landfill waste. To make magnesium hydroxide, one manufacturer, National Magnesia Chemical in Moss Landing, California, reacts calcined natural dolomite with pre-treated clarified seawater. This process results in a fluid slurry of magnesium hydroxide, or chemical-grade milk of magnesia. Using magnesium hydroxide can be easy. It requires no special equipment or protection because it is non-toxic and environmentally safe. And unlike caustic soda, lime, or soda ash, it cannot be overdosed. Its self-buffering capability limits pH to a maximum of 9. This safety factor assures compliance with the EPA Clean Water Act. Lime and sodium-based treatment methods must be constantly monitored to make sure that the pH does not exceed federally mandated safety requirements. Unlike its highly reactive counterparts, magnesium hydroxide creates a drier, denser sludge that's easier to dewater and less expensive to dispose of. Often, reclaiming metals from this sludge can be much less complicated, which results in significant cost savings and keeps the metals out of landfills. Treating wastewater with a naturally occurring element found in seawater may be one way nature allows us to soften our industrial footprints. Consider it a gift from the sea that may help save our planet from drowning in an ocean of waste.
If fish could talk, they'd be mad as hell. Every year, 14 billion tons of trash get dumped in the ocean. Bring litter back to the dock and recycle it. Get involved with today's environment today.
Some people would say that this box is empty, but actually it's filled with one of our most precious resources, air. It's vital for our life, and that's why it's so important that we don't let pollution turn this precious resource into a scarce resource. Our next story takes a closer look.
Corporate responsibility. and the environment. Is it enough just to conform to the letter of the law, or should industry leaders steer their companies toward new horizons? Some companies believe they should go beyond simple adherence to environmental regulations. To promote citizen awareness, environmental education, and in the spirit of encouraging action to improve our air quality, one major auto manufacturer instituted a tree planting program. Now, the goal was to plant one tree for every vehicle sold. Created in 1989, the GeoTree program from Chevrolet continues to grow and now has partnerships with more than 60 nonprofit environmental organizations across the nation. To date, over 800,000 trees have been planted, and the goal to plant 1 million trees by the end of '96 appears well within reach.
The environmental benefit of trees and their natural ability to purify the air seem to go hand in hand with our intent to produce lower emission vehicles. It seemed like a natural to us, and as a result, a program like GeoEnvironmental, where we care about urban forestry and trees being planted within our cities, seemed like a good way to get involved in the environmental direction of this country, both as citizen and corporate America.
Likewise, Chevy Truck Outdoors has a partnership with the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, providing support for river, ocean, and wildlife habitat restoration across the United States. They also sponsor a series of events called Public Lands Appreciation Day. The events serve two important missions: to clean up, restore, and reclaim neglected national parkland, and to get people involved in an environmental event and reward them for their efforts. Research showed that consumers wanted to get involved with ecological causes, but simply didn't know how. The tree planting program and the public lands restoration events offer people an easy way to volunteer and actively participate in a positive way. Environmental consciousness carries throughout the Chevrolet Geo organization, all the way down to dealership design and sales training. Service departments actively recycle oil, air conditioning refrigerants, used tires, batteries, and other materials that might otherwise end up in landfills or hazardous waste dumps. Some dealerships even use their showrooms to distribute environmental materials with tips on how to drive green. Vehicles that deliver higher fuel mileage and air conditioning systems that use a non-ozone depleting refrigerant make up the new product line. In a world where heavy industry often gets much of the blame for inflicting ecological damage on the planet, it's a positive sign of the times to see some corporations take their environmental responsibility above and beyond the call of duty. Stand by for a look at the new hope for reduced auto emissions and what's going on with all the plastic we recycle, next on Today's Environment.
Chemistry, elements reacting with one another. Those reactions can make our environment sick or heal it. Hopefully, the more we study our ecological chemistry, the closer we'll get to a formula for better living, like in this next segment.
Welcome to the flashpoint in the air war. California has declared all-out war on this oppressive brown haze. One primary target, auto emissions. Californians passed the toughest emission standards in the world, and they mean to enforce them. New automobiles must reduce their emission levels or get off the highway. By the year 1997, new vehicles must conform to ultra-low emission requirements, and phased in over coming years, the state will even require some vehicles with zero emissions. Since California represents one of the largest markets for automobiles, major automakers are working to meet the challenge of developing refinements to meet these tough standards. One simple device that may save the day remains the catalytic converter. This device already eliminates nearly 95% of pollutants streaming through the exhaust systems of most cars in America. It's a honeycombed ceramic surface coated by 3 metal catalysts that heats to over 400 degrees centigrade when the engine exhaust passes through it. The reaction between the exhaust, the catalyst, and the superhot surface transforms hazardous emissions into harmless water vapor and carbon dioxide. But California's new clean air standards demand an even greater reduction in emission levels than the current catalytic converter can deliver. Help may be on the way. An electrically heated catalytic converter could offer a solution. This prototype, manufactured by Corning, takes aim at eliminating the cold start emissions that the current converter cannot reduce. This new device reaches its operating temperature in about 5 seconds. It takes normal catalytic converters up to 2 minutes to reach that point, and that's when objectionable emissions escape undiminished. Using the preheated converter, a test vehicle surpassed California's 1997 stringent ultra-low emission vehicle standards with flying colors. Optimistic Corning sources claim that their electrically heated converter system can eliminate 99.1% of harmful engine emissions. They also point to successful test results on another prototype, a pre-converter that heats up rapidly because of its close proximity to the engine. The catalytic converter deserves much of the credit for the improvement in today's air quality versus the smoggy 60s and 70s. And an improved catalytic converter may hold much of the hope for the clean air of tomorrow. As auto emissions control technology advances, we can all look forward to the day in the not-too-distant future when we will all breathe even easier.
Every year, America produces 25 million tons of plastic. That's about 10 pounds for every human on Earth. And only 1% gets recycled. We've got to do better than that. Get involved with today's environment today.
Some mystics believe they've had many previous lives. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I know that this bottle has had more than one life. Believe it or not, it was once many bottles. Recycling makes a lot of sense. Watch this and you'll see.
Who would imagine this plastic bottle could become a warm winter jacket? It's hard to imagine, but true. New fabric made from recycled fibers just may revolutionize the fashion industry and in the process drive up the demand for the products that you and I throw in our recycling bins. Every day, technology and innovation combine to create new, extraordinary products using recycled raw materials. In fact, the American Plastics Council reports that over 1 billion pounds of plastic packaging was recycled last year. That's a 12% increase over the year before. This fleece from Dire Sport Fabrics is only one new use for the plastic bottle you tossed in the bin yesterday. Other new products like plumbing and sprinkler pipes, lawn furniture, even new bottles expand the use of recycled plastics of all kinds to new and environmentally friendly applications. So what can you do to help in finding new uses for recycled materials? Well, for recycling to achieve its full positive environmental impact, new ways to reduce collection, handling, and processing costs must be found. While scientists and engineers search for new methods to reduce these costs, there are things that you, the consumer, can do to bring down sorting and handling expenses. How you prepare your containers for recycling makes a big difference in how much it ends up costing to recycle them. Simply by following the guidelines from your local recycler, you can cut handling time and costs dramatically. Easy steps like rinsing plastic containers, crushing them, and removing any colored caps help to save thousands of hours in sorting and preparing the materials for recycling. There must be demand for recycled products if the recycling system is to work. As a consumer, you can begin to look for and buy products that contain recycled plastics. If sales of recycled products continue to climb, the plastics you put in your recycling bin will become even more valuable. Booklets like this one, produced by the American Plastics Council, tell you which products in your stores contain recycled plastics. As plastics recycling continues to grow, you can play an important role by recycling properly and shopping wisely. With your help, more and more innovative recycled products will find their way into the marketplace and into your home. In a moment, on Today's Environment, new computer software is helping to save the Earth, and geothermal energy is making news next.
Decision-making could be a lot easier if we could look into a crystal ball and see tomorrow, but we can't. But today's computer can help us sample options and predict outcomes. Forecasting has advanced from crystal ball to computer, but has it improved? Just watch.
Contaminated. This patch of Earth may look fine, but underneath the surface lurks contamination created by 40 years of top-secret uranium production. Fernald, Ohio. It once provided a key operation for our nuclear defense arsenal. Now, its uranium production mission has ended, and the site is being remediated under what is known as the Comprehensive Environmental Response Compensation and Liability Act, an agreement between the U.S. Department of Energy and the EPA. Radiation and chemical waste compromise the soil, air, and water. With pollution this extensive, where do you start, and what methods do you use? Before the first stone can be turned, a comprehensive plan must be developed. And the tools to develop that plan stand out as equally important as the equipment used to execute the restoration. The computer and specialized software for hazardous waste cleanup proved to be potent weapons in orchestrating this reclamation effort managed by the Fernald Environmental Restoration Management Corporation, or FERMCO. This software, designed by the Intergraph Corporation, allows a multidisciplinary team to integrate massive amounts of historical and current site data and generate three-dimensional models of what the situation looks like at the surface and below the ground. Geologists, chemists, and environmental engineers are using these maps or models in order to create the most efficient plan for reclaiming the site. Communicating the interaction of millions of bits of data in a visual model can convert extremely complex information into a picture technicians, regulatory officials, and even the general public easily understand. The software combines the powerful information management capacity of the geographical information systems with computer-assisted design's advanced visualization capabilities. Displaying and highlighting hazards like this contamination plume can give more immediate insight into the threat posed to the groundwater than a mere numerical analysis. Comprehensive samples chronicled from all over the site gives the cleanup team solid data on the types of contaminants, their strength, and their migration. But no human mind can constantly process and evaluate the interrelation of the enormous quantities of information necessary for proper decision-making. Software designers at Intergraph develop their graphic systems to interact with a vast, ever-changing database and generate simulations which can help decision-makers evaluate options and forecast outcomes. This analysis usually translates to a strategy that gets the job done better, more quickly, and less costly. These data management and advanced 3D graphic systems currently aid the reclamation efforts at many other EPA cleanup sites across the United States. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. But if it helps to restore our Earth, it may be priceless.
E equals mc squared, Einstein's famous formula for energy. Well, you don't have to understand physics to appreciate it. It means that energy can be found anywhere. It's in the sun, the wind, the water, even in the earth. Our challenge lies in harnessing it, and here's one way that just might work.
This new home includes a heating and air conditioning system that's so down to earth, it is the earth. It harnesses geothermal energy. 365 days a year, the earth acts as a giant solar collector and absorbs the heat from the sun. It stores this heat below the frost line, about 6 feet underground, where the temperature always remains at a constant 55 degrees Fahrenheit, whether you're in Phoenix, Florida, or Frostbite Falls. By installing an underground heat exchanger, this 55-degree temperature becomes the catalyst for heating the home in winter or cooling it in summer. In this system, endorsed by the Jersey Central Power and Light Company, the exchanger circulates a heat transfer solution through polyethylene pipes laid in the ground. The number and length of the pipes varies by the size of the home. When space is tight, vertical pipes can be installed by drilling wells. In the winter, the circulating solution absorbs the higher temperature below ground and inside. A heat pump compresses the heat to add only a few degrees to make the home comfortable. In the summer, the process works in reverse by moving the warm air out of the home and back into the earth. During the summer, the system can recycle this residual heat and provide hot water. Geothermal systems represent more than just another alternative to heating and cooling homes and businesses. They maximize energy efficiency by moving heat rather than creating it. This can translate to dramatic savings on utility bills. Programs at Jersey Central Power and Light offer rebates and incentives to homeowners and builders who install these systems. The improved efficiency and resulting energy conservation relieves the need for costly new transmission and generation facilities. With a geothermal system in the home, there's no furnace, no combustion ever takes place, no flames, no fumes, and no emissions enter the air from the space conditioning system. Currently, construction on one of the largest geothermal systems in the country continues at a large state college in New Jersey. When completed, it will handle the enormous heating and air conditioning demands of the entire campus. Many developers prefer geothermal systems over the traditional space conditioning systems and incorporate them into the blueprints for more energy-efficient homes. The technology is catching on. Currently, about 150,000 homeowners across America use this earth-based heat exchange, and acceptance continues to grow each year. Harnessing the heat from underground can provide us with dramatic energy savings and soften the environmental impact of our heating and cooling needs. So as the technology advances on geothermal energy, it becomes clear that we may have one more generous gift from our great provider, Mother Earth.
How important is insulation? Well, you decide. If every gas-heated home had proper caulking and weather stripping, we would save enough energy to heat 4 million other homes. When someone wastes energy, we all pay the price. I hope this show inspires you to think about how you can help our planet. Join us next time as we explore more environmental solutions on today's environment.
If you know of any interesting environmental success stories, call us at 407-997-9800. The preceding program was sponsored in part by a grant from Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care. This has been a presentation of 5 Star Productions USA.